So thank you, Professor Sarkar, Professor Ashok Sarkar, my uncle. It's a privilege to have you in this podcast. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much.
So Professor Ashok Sarkar, he actually worked for last 4 decades in different capacity, but predominantly we will talk today with his teaching aspect or teaching experience or as a teacher. Though apart from teaching, he actually did research and consultancy in transportation engineering, rural accessibility, and traffic safety. Um, he also worked as a senior professor in IIT, which is Indian Institute of Technology, Jammu, and IIT Kharagpur, University of Durban in South Africa. But majorly in his career, he spent in Birla Institute of Technology, BITS, in Pilani, which is a small place in India, but a very renowned university. And he finished from there as a director. So today we will talk to Professor Sarkar uh, and his experience and the mentoring he normally gives to the youth and the students he always exposed to. So thank you, Uncle, to come to this podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you for giving me this opportunity to share my experiences.
My pleasure. My pleasure. So the first question,
Yeah.
in last 4 decades, how you have experienced or you have seen the education has changed. The reason I asked you, because when
Yeah.
I was in school or college, gathering information was kind of an understanding of education, but not anymore. So how that education changed in last 4 decades?
There are different, not a few aspects of education, I should say. And I cannot say that revolutionary changes have taken place in the course curriculum. But only recently we have come up with a new education policy, NEP we call it, 2020. The previous one was in 1900 something. So the question is, this has not been implemented as yet. There are a few revolutionary things there, but it has not been implemented as yet. But from my own experience, I can see that changes have taken place over the years. Because if I take my example in my specialization, my basic degree in civil engineering, when we studied or when our teachers studied, at that time, main focus was on certain areas
Mm-hmm.
like surveying and structural engineering kind of thing. But last 30, 40 years, many new areas have come up in civil engineering. Transportation, environmental, GIS, GPS, all these things are included. So we are including them. I'm not saying that changes are not taking place. But in the process, I think we are taxing the students with so many courses.
Mm-hmm.
And that is also happening in the school level.
Right.
Many changes have taken place, but the students are overloaded. We talk about it everywhere, starting from our president, that you see, that is the load on the kids should be minimized. We talk about it, but we have not done much in the process as yet, unfortunately. As we talk about, industry and academia collaboration, we go to seminars, we talk about it, the industrialists come to our, institutions, they also talk about it, nothing happens, which is happening in more developed countries as well. But whatever is happening in a very small scale. Now, the course content is one thing which is continuously changing, because good in universities or institutions, they're changing their course curriculum at least for every 4 or 5 years, sometimes 3 years even.
Right.
But my concern is more on pedagogy. Now, when we are student, the only source of information was the teacher, more
Yes.
or less. The library, you are not well equipped. There is no internet, nothing. So we used to go to the class, and whatever the teacher used to tell us, more or less, we used to accept it. And that is the only source we had. Maybe one or two books were there, and because the library also are not well equipped, because it is
Yeah.
very expensive to get standard books from foreign countries in India. Used to be. Now we are having everything, I should say, after the internet. Now, if you consider the situation today, if I am a student, I can get all the information on my fingertips.
Absolutely.
Now the question is, the teachers also, in that case, the 30, 40 years, the teachers also should have worked on it. How to attract the students toward the class, because they have got so many other avenues to learn. If I don't come to the class and some download some lectures given by a very good professor somewhere, why should I go to the class?
Yeah.
That means the teachers who used to respect in our days, I'm worried that in the present situation, they will not be respected with the present generation, because their way of teaching was different. Now they know everything of their own. So one thing that is nowadays work is going on in this area. How to bring the students to the class, how to make them, not bringing the student, you can make attendance compulsory, you can bring them. But how to grab attention, that is very important. So a lot of research is going on teaching learning. And most of the good universities, they've got a separate center, teaching learning center. So nowadays the focus is on learning, not on teaching.
Yes.
That is not being understood by our new faculty members, young faculty members. They are still trying to follow the same method we used to go to the class, or our teachers used to go to the class, trying to more or less doing the same thing, but using some technology like PowerPoint, etc. Sometimes showing some video, but some changes have taken place, but not the way it should have, because outside world is changing very fast, and if we don't change very fast, we'll be lagging behind. That is the major difference, that is problem I can see in education in our system. So what would be the ideal? I'm not saying that research is not going on in this area. In fact, in our institute also we have started it, but I cannot claim that we are doing very well in India in this area. In some pockets, people are working on that. But I come up with something, how to implement that and tell the new faculty members, please follow this. They are not ready to accept, because they are used to a certain way of teaching. For example, I will give you a very interesting example. Now, one of the new faculty members, this is not this is not my experience. I heard from one of my friends from IIT Kanpur. Now, one faculty joined, and usually our practice is that we have to go take 42 lectures, and this is the course we have to cover. That is the standard practice. A new faculty member joined there,
Okay.
and he was teaching a course. subject. Generally in other, we call it course, but outside it is known as subject. Now in each and every course, you are given a syllabus. And you are supposed to complete the syllabus in 42 lectures, let us say.
Yep.
That is the standard. In 13-week semester, 42 lectures you are supposed to get. But he was new to the system, so he was, he took a lot of time in explaining the things maybe. So in the process, he could not complete the syllabus. He was feeling guilty, even though he has engaged 42 lectures. And then he went to the director. I don't know who was the director. It maybe a long time back. This story is all about. And he said that, sir, I tried to teach the course, but 42 lectures were not enough. I could not cover the syllabus. His reply was, which I think is very good. Your job is not to cover the syllabus. Your job is to uncover the subject. So I always tell our student, even the new faculty, the same thing. That means you will have to tell them what exactly is the logic behind this course. What are the major things in there? Instead of covering the 42, I can do that very easily. Go to the class and take lectures and 42 lectures, that is enough for that. But uncovering the subject, what is there inside the subject, is the job of a teacher. That I think we are missing even now. There are a few, faculty, they are doing very well. And they are being, given prizes for that also. Particularly, I went to Singapore once, one of my friends there. He was heading this teaching learning center at that time. Now, there was a time when the researchers used to get all the, credits. Best researcher, best teacher. To make teaching important. It was important long time back. Gradually lost it in the process of giving too much of importance to research. So many faculty members started neglecting teaching. So they decided to honor the best teacher in the campus, also the best researcher in the same platform. Otherwise, there is a time when people are giving too much stress on research. In India, we are going through that now, that phase now. Gradually, people are understanding teaching also is very important.
Yep.
Now, course, I think curriculum is heavy to me. One of my friends is in UK, came and visited me, and he was there for 15 days or so. He was telling me, you people teach too much. Why do you take 42 lectures? We usually take 15 to 20 lectures and leave it to the students. Let them study. But you see, he will not understand our society, our students. It may be working very well in developed countries, may not work very well in India. The reason is the students are being, they're supported by their parents here. So their actual objective is to get a job. Learning is not the objective. Many of them, I'm not saying that 100%. Most of the cases, learning is not the objective. So in the process, they will not study at all. They will prepare just before the exam for 2 days, 2 nights, and finish it off. So this process, what model is successful in developed countries may not be successful in a developing country like India, because our society is different. The reason for coming to a program is also different. There are many issues in that. So now many courses, now you see, we have made it compulsory. Most of the IITs, they have made it that the students must take 3 to 5 humanities courses.
Oh, okay.
Oh yeah, it is the must.
Humanities
The
used to
question
be
is,
like a second grade subjects when we are in
yeah,
schools.
the students think it that way even now, but we have made it compulsory that you will have to take. I think in BITS Pilani it was 5 humanities courses you must do before you graduate.
That's good.
But problem here is that if you make it a course or subject, as you say, it becomes another course in your curriculum. For example, if I read a book, kind of, I'm not doing it for my exam. I'm not reading the book for my exam. So preparing for exam and leisurely, reading a book, there is a difference. The learning
Yes.
process is much more here. But anyway, we are doing that. In India, it is compulsory. I think even most of the IITs also have done. So changes are taking place. I would say that curriculum is okay. But new education policy in the school level, they have done a lot of work. Their whole model they're going to change. It has not been implemented. So I'll not be able to tell you or don't have that much of knowledge to discuss that. But they have come up with a new model, the 3 plus 5 plus 3 plus 3 plus 4, like something like that. Preparatory, then foundation. That way they have gone into the school process there. So it is a revolutionary change, I should say. But I have not seen it implemented as yet. So things are happening gradually. So I
Right.
think that's all. If you have got any questions, you can ask on this topic.
No, no. So that means what you said is learning is important. Okay. Which definitely we, like, as I live in Melbourne, with my kids, I'm also seeing that. And because of the information becoming free, learning is also easier, as you mentioned. Okay. So in this environment, definitely someone who wants to be a doctor, yes, they need certain skills, or a particular engineer, they need certain skills. But those individuals, they are very, very less. Let's talk about the
Correct.
generalists who are
Hmm.
doing basically different type of jobs or businesses or whatever. For those people, is
Hmm.
education or degree, so to speak, is it really important these days?
Education is important,
Education, exactly, degree.
but degree may not be important. And I think in the long run, degree will not be needed. Skill will be more important.
Absolutely.
I can give you an example here. One of the students, he joined BITS Pilani the first year. Lean and thin boy. He came with his mother to meet me because the boy didn't want to stay in the hostel, because he cannot stay without his mother, he said. But anyway, we don't allow that. Now I told him, what is your interest? As generally we talk to the students and try to find out their interest. He said ethical hacking.
Oh,
I
okay.
didn't I didn't know about the subject, so I asked him to explain. So it is not very clear to me as yet, but ethical hacking he used to do, and he is just into it. After completion of first year, or maybe second year, initial stages of second year, he came to me saying that, sir, I would like to leave. I said, what? I said, I've got a job in Germany with a very good salary. I told him, but at least you should have, our thinking is that degree is very important. I said, why don't you take 1 year leave and go there and try and come back otherwise? He said, no, sir, I've decided to go. So what kind of job? He said, sir, because of my hacking, I was invited in France for some competition, and there these fellows picked me up and offered me a job immediately. So he went to Germany, and I don't know what he is doing now. So that means it is skill, not the degree. So actually, the main issue is that we'll have to know something.
Yes.
Just for the sake of degree, if you take a degree, nobody. Yeah, tell me.
Because here, with this Google certification, I know 3 kids. They are in year 10, year 11, year 12, something like that. And they just left school for good. They already did some Google certification, and Google actually absorbed them. So yes, I mean, this is like a top-notch technology company. Maybe they understood they have like their prodigy or whatever immense knack. But with technology, these things, implementing these ideas to the whole world, slowly it will happen. And then maybe a year 10 kid can solve some problem which before it was not even possible to
Yeah,
even
yeah.
talk, and all these things. So, and that shift I'm actually changing in developed world. And this type of changes, I'm hopeful that places like India or Africa or wherever they are developing countries, it's easy, or whatever. It's like there are a lot of resources available. That's what I'm trying to say.
Yeah.
Right.
No, change is happening, but very slowly.
Very
Very slow.
slowly.
Yeah.
Yes. Now, sorry, you want to say something?
Now, question is, maybe one of the questions you asked, maybe I'm taking it up before you ask me. The question is, that fellow I appreciated. I am the example I gave you because he has understood what is his interest. We fail. Many of our students, they don't know what is their real interest.
Can I add one more thing? I
Yeah.
mean, maybe that fellow, okay, he understands what he wants. Maybe apart from that, he is also aware of that if there will be some consequences, I have that guts to kind of go with it.
Mm-hmm.
What you were saying, I also see some of my friends also in India or in US or in Australia. They just go with the flow all the
Yeah.
time from school. Okay, this good marks means this degree means this job means this. Now they are in mid 40s. Some of them actually ask, I mean, why we are doing this?
Nobody knows. Yeah.
So, and now because they haven't done any of these things before, what I'm seeing is they don't know how to face the consequences if they fail also.
So, in country like India, let me tell you, mostly students are coming from middle class families, lower middle class, upper middle class, mostly in the good institutions. I'm talking about professional degrees.
Yes.
They need a job
Yep.
or some income at the end of the day. If you say for the sake of learning, I'm doing this course, he joins history or some discipline where, it is difficult to get a job. The
No
parents will not
incentive.
allow. So question is, I tell my students that I know up to class 12, you didn't have any kind of freedom to choose your career. In India, it is not there, more or less.
True.
It is your along the flow, you'll have to go. Everybody is doing JEE for entering into IIT, they will go for that. And main issue has become is that, as we have asked that question, the parents are creating a lot of problems. The student might be having a different intention, but parents, it is a prestige issue to send their kids to IIT, and that too in a particular branch. The
To
first
fulfill
choice,
their own aspirations sometimes.
not necessarily all the time, it is a prestige.
Right.
In
Oh, okay.
society,
Yeah.
if I tell that my son is studying in IIT Bombay in computer science, my stature goes up. It is
Right.
not that their aspirations all the time. Aspirations may be at the lower middle class level. But those who are the higher level, I don't think aspiration, yes, it works slightly, not always. But prestige in the community is more important for them. Very proudly, they will say, my son is going to IIT. But if it is a, third generation IIT like IIT Jammu, for example, they will say it not that proudly, they will say it. They're in IIT, they will first. Then which IIT? Then they will say IIT Jammu, kind of, It has not come to that stage as yet, like IIT Bombay or first,
Yeah.
five IITs. So it is the students are fulfilling the dream of, not dream as such, to satisfy their fathers in aspirations, not exactly aspirations all the time, I was trying to say. To enhance the prestige of their father or parents, they're forced to do that. It's a combination. It is not, I'm not saying that students, sometimes the students create their own pressure on them. They
Yes.
go to school, the teacher says they're very good students, you can you must get into IIT. That creates added pressure on them. I have seen few parents, not many, they don't put any pressure. But the student himself has created pressure on him because of societal pressure. He will be considered as a second-class citizen, if he doesn't get into IIT. That is the kind of situation in India. How many students get into IIT? Now, if you ask any IIT aspirant, about 15 lakhs, 150 million, 1.5 million, let us say, their first would be computer science in IIT Bombay.
That's number one.
That is, if I have calculated also, recently I am working on that, was working. So I have counted the number of seats in computer science department in all the IITs together. It was 923. So 1.5 million students aspiring for that. It is impossible. They don't understand. So unnecessarily, a society is creating a kind of, even, I also very much dislike it. In the newspapers, IIT toppers are given the first page cover. In any newspaper, he's the topper in the IIT, as if he's going to get a Nobel Prize in the future. Maybe, I'm not saying they will not.
Yeah, exactly. But why
But
depress?
how many toppers have done very well in life? That also they should explain. So we have, we always say that we have almost got out of caste system, some part of India, many part of India. But we are creating our own caste system in other fields.
Yes.
IIT is one caste, NIT is another caste. So this is not good. So I'm saying we cannot claim that we are out of caste system as yet. In a different form, it has come on us, and we are to be blamed for that. For example, IS toppers, then IIT toppers, given so much of, I'm not saying that they have worked hard. I don't have any problem in giving them credit. But the way it is being projected in the newspaper, they'll go to their parents asking them how many hours you were studying. And this is slightly too much for me. So that is creating a, inferiority complex among other students, which is not good for the society. A student getting into good NIT is a good achievement for me. Or even in a government college, good. Does it mean that good students are not in other colleges? But they are getting demoralized because of this kind of unnecessary hype created by better known institutions. And they are not to be blamed. Our media, our society, they are to be blamed.
Is it like still we are like it's still a survival mentality? We cannot come out of it? Or
it will come out gradually. I have seen one or two positive points. Last year, I was invited to felicitate students who did very well in our campus. It is a huge campus in class 10th and class 12th. So I made it a point to ask them, what are you going to do? at least once told me, he had done very well. He said, I would go for commerce. He's not going for sciences, which is good, Another boy who told me that I am interested in wildlife protection. I am going for a course in Bangalore for doing that. He's a bright student.
Yes.
So these are the bright spots I can see. So if a few students can show that much of courage gradually, I think the parent mentality also will change.
Here also one thing related to this, at least what I'm seeing um, in the developed world with my kids, um, and to some extent, I don't know about like a government schools in rural areas in India much, but when I go to the other cities, my friends' kids and all, because of the red tapeism and because of the like a bullying or because of all these societal changes, definitely a lot of compliances come into play. Okay, when we are in schools, teacher is to like smack us or whatever. They had their own treatment. We got their like we got treatment. So and with different like ample information outside, not even in their city, outside the world. So with all these, students are, and by default, like parents are more resourceful than when we are in schools. So with all these resources and stuff, what I see is all these kids are like cushioned all the time. And because of they're cushioned all the time, if they are not in a serious sports in school level, apart from like a romantic failure, I can't see they are failing as such. Failing means they are like given their piece of life into something that can be anything, and that didn't work. And when that failure is not happening and creating whatever way the pressure is in a big stage, many of them got cracks.
You see, that is the reason I was trying to tell you that up to class 12, that is school level, they don't have much freedom to decide what to do in life. I tell the students in the first year itself, when they used to join for 4-year program, that now these 4 years is the time for you to identify your real interest. You ask me, what is your real interest? He said, you enjoy doing. Otherwise, it will be load. In the class, if I go, I don't like chemistry, but I need to do chemistry. I will be doing chemistry, but it is a load on me. But suppose I like mathematics or I like history. History class will be very interesting for me.
Mm.
So you are the right person. Nobody can tell you because I have got say 97 out of 100 in my mathematics in class 12. Doesn't mean that I am interested in mathematics. I may
Absolutely.
be interested in arts or somewhere else. So this is 4 years. You will be having a lot of time to think about yourself and what would you like to, what really interests you, you try to find it. Again, I will give you one example here. One student was in the arts club, in Pilani. So I requested him that I knew him. I told him that, generally in the New Year, we used to send cards, from Pilani, from the director's office used to send. So every year used to send the same kind of, photograph of the tower of institute, etc. He said, why don't you design a card for me? So designed a card, and we become slightly friendly. Not we are not meeting frequently, yes. Then before leaving the campus, he came and met me. I told him, well, he was a very good student, 9.2 CGP out of 10
Oh, wow. Okay.
in mechanical engineering. So I asked him, what are you going to do? He said, I'm going to UK. I thought he's going for, higher degrees. I'm going to UK for learning arts. Art means painting.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And that I have decided this is my profession, going to be my profession. There are many cases, not too many, but at
Yes.
least our system in BITS Pilani was like this, that you have got lot of activities to do. Enough time is given to, and since it is a small city, small town rather, there's nothing outside. The student used to have a lot of creative ideas, and they picked up their own hobby, and accordingly they did very well in their life.
Right.
So I tell them, the students, even IITs also as teaching, that you try to find out your interest. I told them that, you see, I cannot claim that I have achieved many things in life, but I have got the satisfaction that what I did, that was my aim in life.
Hmm. Hmm.
So I think if you work hard and you like the profession that you do, you will succeed in that. But don't tell me that, sir, I am forced to take this course and kind of thing. Then you go to or this particular program. Suppose in civil engineering we faced many problems. Students come to me, sir, I'm not interested in civil engineering. I tell them either you do it or leave it there. Go somewhere else and of your choice. That also they don't want to do. They need that tag,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
brand of IIT or BITS they need. So at that point of time, I don't blame them because
Hmm.
they didn't have the freedom to think. 4 years is the time to think and then decide about their lives. Many students have picked up very different kind of, the civil engineering doesn't mean he will be doing civil engineering or he or she.
Yes.
They'll be doing different kind of things, and many of the students, they are going into marketing and other areas, getting
Yes.
degree from IITs and other ways. They are not doing hardcore engineering jobs. But if you don't enjoy what you're doing, profession you have chosen, because the salary package is very high, after a few years, you will feel very bad about it. You'll
Yes.
become demoralized. And I
Yes.
tell this, I read somewhere, one lady, I read it, some American lady, she was apparently highly successful. Highly successful. Then after coming from the office one day, she was around 35 at that point of time. She achieved everything that she wanted to almost of her age. Just like this, she started crying. Nobody told her anything. Then he recognized that all these things I'm doing not for my own interest. Because others are doing, the society is, looking at me as a successful person, I'm doing that.
Yes.
But I really don't enjoy doing it.
Yeah.
So she decided to change her career. So career option can be changed anytime. That is another suggestion I give to the students. You can, make a mistake initially, but always another thing I tell the students, I would like you to fail in your initial 5 to 7 years.
It's
Fail a
necessary.
few times,
Yeah.
then you will succeed. If you are successful at the beginning itself, you will not really appreciate it. And what is failure, you will never know. A small failure in life will make your life very miserable.
Yes.
Are we diverting from our topic or?
No, no, absolutely fine. Now, like the way you are gliding, which is good, because the next thing what I would like to ask you, which I know you really keep an eye on it, which is mental health of the students.
Yeah.
I know you personally really care about it. So, because of the societal changes, because of the way learning or the parenting or the social fabric is changing, is mental health getting worse in students? Because all the parameters across the world is like going up.
And because the students don't have much free time, that is number one. And society, as you are correctly saying, society has changed quite a bit. The parents, if there is some problem in the family, it affects the students also. And after COVID, it has increased drastically, I have been told.
Yes.
Drastically means, a few percentage up because of that. Because they have gone through a very, very, 2 years you are not doing anything, sitting at home and, some lectures you are attending, which is very, very frustrating.
Mm-hmm.
So I think all of us have gone through this, some kind of depression. The young boys could not take it. So depression level has number of cases, it has increased, I have been told, after this COVID. It is an issue which, it is, maybe it was there, and we have staged a point in India particularly. We have become aware of this. Yes, this is one problem that may come. Before this, few years, it is not considered as a kind of problem at all.
Absolutely.
Now we are aware of this, but we have not reached a point. Acceptance levels we have not reached. I
Right.
have many cases I have seen that I personally believe that the boy is depressed, boy or girl is depressed. If I talk to the parents, they don't accept it.
Mm-hmm.
That is, acceptance level has not come yet.
Mm-hmm.
Mental health means the person has gone mad.
Yes.
That is the kind of impression they are having. So it is a kind of, people don't want to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
That is gradually going, gradually, very slowly. But now acceptance is coming, that people are accepting, yes, there is a problem with my kid and we need to do something. But first reaction is definitely, negative. That is, it cannot happen to me.
Right.
So facilities are available.
Like
Different
facilities are like, because when we are in schools or
and
college, there was no facilities as such.
no, no, facilities, mentors are there available everywhere.
Okay.
Even some, I think in Bangalore there is one Mintas or some mental health, big hospital is there. There is a problem, they can go there. The mental health, not that, kind of we have in Agra or other places. That
Right.
is basically for completely out of. Doctors are available. And institutions are very keen to help them.
Right. That perception changed a lot. That
That has,
means.
but question is, my own feeling is that to identify them is the main problem. I will not know that I have gone through depression or I am depressed or I have got some mental health issue. I will not understand that. So I will aloof myself from the society and spend my time of whatever way. People may not be in a position to understand that I am going through some, mental
Yes.
depression. How
Yes.
to identify, to bring them and then provide them support is the main issue. Support is available, not in abundance, but it is available. The how to catch them, to bring them to the services is the major problem today in India.
Hmm. So like a holistic approach will help, or I mean, definitely awareness build up is one thing. Second is like with awareness, little bit from education, or as such, education is another thing.
Yeah.
And then maybe government policies or all these things are also can.
See here, government policies, I don't know what is there, but I think even if it is there, it will be positive only. Nothing negative will be there. That
Yeah.
is for sure. I think it depends on the institute and the parents quite a bit.
Right. Right. And
Mostly the institute and you see, my suggestion would be, I told my director at IIT Jammu also, that faculty members when they join, they should be given some kind of training how to deal
mm,
with students. Some we can actually we invited one person from AIMS also and one private institution. So they will give some idea of a student comes to you and how to identify that there's a problem. And if a student comes to you, because with experience we have learned, the new faculty would not know.
No.
His age difference is not much.
Mm-hmm.
So he or she may not be in a position to handle that. So what they can do, how to, because many a time, the young faculty members, particularly, even some older, elderly also do that. They don't try to understand. The student is not attending class. Let us say, five
Mm-hmm.
students are not attending classes out of 50. So you punish them equally. Zero in the class test for all of them. It's a standard practice. Nobody can blame you for that.
No.
You have done your job. But a person having some human touch will call the students one by one. What was the reason you didn't write the exam or you're not attending? You will find two of them are really, they are not interested in whatever it is. They're spoiling their time. One or two will be having some real problem.
Yes.
We can help them. We cannot help all of them. Those two cases we cannot handle, to be frank. But these two, if we find yes, there is a problem. I know one case I can tell you. One student used to come to me quite often. I was very new to BITS Pilani at that time. Now his parents are having some problem.
Mm.
This fellow was coming to me sharing that. That's all. I cannot solve their problem of
True.
his parents, and they
True.
are from Dehradun or somewhere. I used to listen to him and also tell him that you need not do anything. It is their problem. They will sort it out. You try to do that. Go and meet that sympathetic to the mother and kind of thing. That might have helped or whatever it is, because whenever I go to for in US, in Washington DC, this fellow is, his nearby areas he is working now. He will make it a point to come and meet me. We don't discuss these points, but I think that thing I listened to him, that might have helped him to come out of this trauma he was going through. He remembers me because of that. So I didn't do anything, to be frank. Just listening to him and giving some, don't get involved in this and, don't do your studies properly. So now their parents are staying with him, they're quite okay.
Mm.
So
Mm.
these small things, just listen to them itself will help the students.
I think
These,
one thing you said I really like. I mean, because in those institutions there are not like hundreds of students. Like in one
yeah,
class, like 30 or 40 or whatever, numbers are very less. Just listening to them, maybe 15 minutes or 20 minutes in a month or something like that, in absolutely like a normal, vulnerable talk, that can be very powerful.
it is. It's a
Um,
residential campus, it is possible.
yes, yes, yes.
So if they are staying with the parents, then parents will have a greater role to play.
I studied a little bit on this mental health side, and when I actually found out that a lot of these mental health issues kind of started when they're kids, because of various reasons, and those things never taken care of, and
Hmm.
now they are in a bigger stage and it's just getting manifested into different, um, those problems is really hard to solve. But if they can just speak up again and again and again, maybe that knot inside their psyche can get loosened.
It may help, because as I'm telling you, we are unable to identify them.
Sure. True.
Now, it is not that we'll be able to, provide support to all of them.
No, we
But at
can't.
least some of them could be brought back to the mainstream. That will be a great achievement, I suppose.
Exactly.
But how
Exactly.
to, these mental health issues, it may happen for any reason.
Yes, absolutely.
It is difficult to, so you don't do this, don't do that, will not help.
No. No. And in like the same incidents, also people take it very differently.
Oh, oh,
Like a same incident is happened to the same year-old man or woman, like their interpretation is very different.
correct, correct, correct. Now each individual is different.
Hmm.
Same incident you look from, because let me again, explain to you. We created one book club in
Mm-hmm.
Pilani. Book club means we observe that serious reading is going down among the students. So we thought that okay, it will be we named it metrics or something like that. So I read a book, let us say novel. I liked it. So I will like to share with my friends, recommend that. So there is a small group of around 40, 50, not even 50, 35 to 40 students. They volunteered. Every month we used to have a meeting for that. Suppose I read a book or novel, I'll talk about it. I'll not tell the whole thing, but some students may get interest, some faculty may also get interest and read that book. Also, what I did, that's what I'm just came to my mind. Same book will be read by four persons, two faculty and two students, or one faculty, three students. And what they have got from the book, they're
Right.
completely different.
Yes.
Quite different. So that's what I'm saying. One incident happening is it might not be affecting me, but it might affect you or someone else. So that's why it is very difficult to say that, because of this, it has happened. Very difficult to say. So identifying the real problem, that's why first we identify that there is a problem.
Mm-hmm.
Then we have to identify what is the problem.
Mm-hmm.
That we cannot do. That can be done by the doctors and
But
mental
one
health.
thing, but one thing is, Professor, in a regimented atmosphere, let's say when you are in a course or when you are in school, it is much easier to be more open when you are in those little bit informal environment, like a book club or a writing club or
Mm.
sports club or whatever. I think those, because you are in a creative zone, you are doing something which you really like. No one is saying, that you have to do it, but you're just doing it from your joy.
Correct.
So maybe that engaging that environment more into the course curriculum can probably give them more opportunity to open
Yeah,
up.
that's what I'm trying to say. Now we are trying to teach too many things to the students. To me, if I understand logical thinking, and in engineering field, mathematics kind of basic these things, if I know properly, that suppose a problem is there, how to look into the problem, what would the could be the solution of it, how to go about that. If I understand that, that itself is enough.
Hmm.
How to solve will take up later on, because that I might not have the expertise. I will invite my friend who is expert in that. He will come and solve my problem. So this is the most important part, I suppose, that we'll have to understand the logical thinking is very, very important. I think majority of us, I should say, don't have that.
Right.
We
Right.
take instantly, we come to a conclusion.
Hmm. Hmm. Or the
Then take
judgmental. Yes.
judgmental too much. We should
Yes.
take your and then take a call, which I think we are not teaching the students.
Right. On that, we also like come to the end of the nice conversation. So the last piece,
Yeah.
what I would like to ask you is what you actually touched upon, which is creativity and critical thinking. please elaborate that more for the audience, because this, um, and after a point of time, like I realized, and you also definitely felt same way. People are just opinion. People just have opinion. It's very hard to discuss, agree
Hmm.
to disagree, or disagree to agree, or whatever. It's very hard for most of the people. So how we can, um, apart from parenting, I mean, parent definitely need a bigger role to play here. But apart from parenting, is there any other way you can see, or
What I can see, that is we need to observe people, we have to learn from others, which is missing in us. I tell you, my own example I'm giving. In our school, there is one teacher, and to me, he was ahead of time.
Mhm,
I have learned many things from him, and my whole, kind of thinking process, I will attribute it to him as also my mother, both of them equally. How to think, how to appreciate a song or a movie, different angles, etc. So that I have learned from them, and I give this example to everyone that my mother also used to teach me, though she was not highly educated, not gone to the college definitely. So she used to teach me mathematics, not algebra. Algebra was beyond her.
mhm,
History, geography, etc., etc. History, I was, reading something, studying something like, some Mughal emperor came from outside and destroyed uh, temples and educational institutions. She told me that if question comes, also write that a temple can be rebuilt very easily, but educational institution you cannot rebuild it immediately. It will take years and years and years. So that really is now I'm in education field I've joined. Now I can appreciate what my mother told, who was so good uneducated at that stage. So I really appreciate that. That this kind of thinking, one piece of information or advice suddenly it tricks you. So in the childhood, if it is being injected, not injected deliberately,
mm,
it should come automatically. I think that really ultimately gives you the this thinking process, logical thinking process, and critical thinking also is I personally feel that my engineering degree has helped me.
mhm,
We if there is a problem, how to solve it, how to design it. So that is kind of critical thinking, I should say, from our angle. Critical thinking also can be thought of from different angles. But my way of thinking is that yes, logically, if I can think how to go about that, that is the best thing to do.
or maybe
And
question, like question, with a respect,
yeah,
definitely the authority, or whatever, the
yeah.
wisdom, the or the course, or whatever. Yeah. So, lastly, like if I ask you to say like five top things who are about to finish their uni and go to the world, what are the top five things you will say?
Difficult to say. I don't know if it will be five or not, but my advice to them is that you have to identify your real interest.
Hmm. Number one. Okay.
That is number one. Number two is you have to work hard.
Hmm.
Third is be honest. So if you're honestly doing something, working hard, and you know that this is my, kind of interest, then I think nobody can stop you. I'm talking about only growth in their professional life. But if you want to, another two suggestions we are looking for, as a human being, you should try to help others as much as you can. I know, we have got our limitations.
Yes,
Within the limitation, can you do something for poorest of the poor or the society? That should be in your mind, particularly in a country like India. If you neglect that, it is doing injustice to your education.
true.
Try to help others, whatever you can. So whether it makes 5 or 4, I don't know, but I think immediately I can think of these points.
Excellent. So on that, we would like to end the podcast. Professor Sarkar, thank you for joining us.
Thank
It's a
you. It was quite
pleasure.
interesting talking to you, and also got an opportunity to share my ideas,
Absolutely.
which I do anyway. Not whoever I meet, I try to, because I caution my students nowadays. I might be talking too much, so please stop me, if I talk too much.
No,
This,
that's the age you have reached because you did your bit, and we would like to, listen more of your wisdom.
no, I think it is not for. I like to share my experiences with people so that they can learn from me.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And recently, I read somewhere that you come with an empty brain. Brain was empty when I came. When you leave, the world also should be empty. That means you distribute everything to others.
Wow. Excellent. On that, we should finish here. Thank you,
Thank you
Professor
so much.
Shaka.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you so much.